Welcome back. Standard Bank Namibia, pardon me, has embarked on a campaign called Standard Bank's Buy a Brick Outreach Challenge, an event aimed at creating awareness around the living conditions of no or low-income households in Namibia. Well, to tell us more on this initiative, I'm joined in the studio by Standard Bank Namibia's Chief Executive Officer, Vetumbwavi Mungunda. Welcome to Business Today.
Thank you very much.
Well, why was there a need for Standard Bank to come up with this initiative, Buy a Brick for community housing initiative in the first place?
What we did was about 2-3 years ago, we were looking at, Standard Bank has been in Namibia for 100 years at that point in time, and we were looking at something that will make an impact on the communities in which we've done business. And obviously to do that, we needed to look for something that was a necessary social imperative given the challenges that we have in the country. And I believe, and we believe that housing is the biggest social challenge in the country, and we needed to make a contribution to that. And that's how we then came up with this particular initiative.
Now, who can contribute to this initiative, or who contributed already to it?
Yeah. So the initiative, first of all, we say buy a brick, and I have seen, and I actually had a lunch with one of senior executives in Namibia this afternoon, and when we were talking about the buy a brick, is the brick that we are talking about is a notional brick. It's not that when you contribute and you buy a brick that a brick will be delivered to your house.
Physically.
It's not physically, it's a notional brick. The contributions that you are making comes into a fund, and then we then take that money, we then donate that money to the Shack Dwellers Federation, and then they use that to build houses. So last year was the first time we ran this particular initiative, and we raised some 1.4 million Namibian dollars.
Okay, now how do you select your beneficiaries?
So the beneficiaries, there's a system already in place. That's why we chose to work with the Shack Dwellers Federation, is that we don't get involved in choosing the beneficiaries. The Shack Dwellers Federation already has a list of members, of people that are looking for houses, and then they use that system to select the beneficiaries. It's a fantastic system that they have. And we're talking about no-income families, so people that do not work, and people that have very, very low income, and that's like the domestic workers. So this is probably the biggest population of people in Namibia, given that we've got an unemployment rate of some 26-27%. So it's really, we believe it's a perfectly great initiative that also has a very good fundamental systems that make sure it is fair, but it also kind of encourages the members to make savings, because before you could benefit, you need to have made savings over a period of time.
Now, have you started already building these houses?
Yeah, so as I said, last year was the first year, so we raised 1.4 million Namibian dollars, and that has been used to build 48 houses in Rehoboth. And the construction started in, I think it was around July or August last year, and I believe that some of those houses should be, close to completion now.
Now, let's talk about your outreach challenge that you thinking of, the idea for top executives of various companies and ministries to come together and experience the realities of how Namibians are living. How do you plan to go about this?
So what we're trying to do is, as I said, this is probably one of the greatest challenges. And then if you look at most of the solutions that are on the table in terms of dealing with housing, they are probably talking to people that are working, people that have a salary. So most of the solutions are talking about, servicing and making service land available. Obviously, that is for people that can afford. Now, we've got, as I said, an unemployment rate of 26%, probably an underemployment of another 20%. So that will probably give us about a 50% of our Namibian nation that will not be able to afford a house. Now, given that, the challenge is that what is it that we need to do? And one of the things that we are looking at is that if we can mobilize the business sector, the leaders in the business sector, both private, public sector, but also in government as well, to get them in touch with the challenges on a daily basis of this 50% of our population, that should be about 500,000 thousand Namibians, that are living in conditions that are below working wage.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the people, so we want to kind of encourage a little bit of emotions around this. People will go there. The outreach challenge is that an afternoon on the 21st of February, we get a number of private sector leaders, public sector leaders, chief executives and others to go out and spend time. They will be assigned to a particular family in the informal settlements so that they can just find out how these people bath, how they sleep, how they travel to work, these daily challenges. And then hopefully with that, it will kind of arise in them a different type of emotion and then also a need to help and then find solutions to see how as a nation we can come together to find solutions for these people below the living wage, people with no income at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just trying to understand how a no income household can afford to actually take care of this brick house that was brought to them, and they have to pay for municipal bills and every service that the municipality is offering.
Yeah. So I think what you will find is that these people that are already in towns, they are already dealing with those issues. Okay, so it's not like the rates and taxes come after the business. So they still have to pay for water now, and they have to find some ways of paying for electricity. So the only difference is that we're now going to try and see if we can assist them to come up with a proper living household where the house is a little bit of bricks and mortars, and then also the proper sanitation services are provided. So at least there will be a flushing toilet, there will be water that they can have access to.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. There is Standard Bank's Chief Executive Officer, Vetumbwavi Mungunda, telling us more on the bank's campaign called Standard Bank's Buy a Brick Outreach Challenge, an event aimed at creating awareness around the living conditions of no or low-income households in Namibia. Business Today continues shortly.